So when I review something, I try to be fair with it and say like, okay, I'm gonna like review this and give it the time of day. I haven't done that with the video I'm gonna talk about. And the video in question is the 2019 movie version of Cats. Now, a lot has happened since then. Pandemic happened in 2020. We're starting to get out of that in 2021. And, bigger, way more important movies have come along. But funny thing is, people just hated this movie. That's all I ever heard from it. And now normally when movies like this come out, you get people who be like, it's so good it's bad, or this is so surreal. But that wasn't the case with this movie. It has almost no defenders whatsoever. And even the people who were in the movie have like started to rip on it. And not even in like a Ryan Reynolds ripping on Green Lantern way, but being like, kind of, what were we thinking? So I've tried to watch it, and there were, I think I've only made it up to 34 minutes, so there's a whole other hour of the movie that's just like, I've yet to see, but the impression I've gotten is not a good one. So there really seems to be absolutely no character development in this movie at all. Like, it's frustrating. So like the way the movie starts off is this one cat in a burlap sack gets dumped into an alleyway, and the other cat's like, oh, who's this? And they just immediately start singing. So we really don't get to learn anything about any of the characters. There's that one cat who does that song Memories, which is like always been the big selling point of the Cats musical. And we get like, oh, everybody doesn't like her. And of course, at the end, she does the song Memories and gets to go to cat heaven. But we don't really get to learn anything about any of these cats, like any of their relationships or anything. It's just, oh, here's a new cat, here's a new song. And, not saying anything against Andrew Lloyd Webber, but, some of these songs aren't the best. Now, I'm not even going to go into, I'll only briefly touch on about like the whole look of the Cats. That was something that I was willing to look past. Because again, I thought, okay, this might be a movie that's so weird that it's enjoyable, but it's not. I think the issue is, in the musical, they look like cats, even though you can tell it's makeup. They give the impression, but in the movie, they don't. It just looks like somebody deep faked a human face on this cat animal hybrid thing. So I was like, that doesn't look right. So yeah, like, I will say this, the only time really that I felt like slightly remotely engaged in the movie was when Idris Elba would appear on screen. Like, okay, it's kind of interesting now. But again, it just wasn't enough for me to be like, I'm going to devote the rest of my time to this movie. And I probably would have reviewed this like a while ago, except for when I first attempted to, there was not an option to rent it. You could only buy it, and they wanted $20 for it. And I'm so glad I held out. I have no problem. Only recently did they make it like, okay, you can rent it. Had no problem throwing away $3.99. But yeah, normally when I make a review, I feel compelled to watch the whole thing through so I can give a fair and thorough review, but not with this. This just, it begs me to wonder, what was Todd Hooper's thought process going into this? Like, I'm genuinely curious because the dude has made good movies and well-crafted movies, but it's like, I don't know, it's like, you'd think, somebody would tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, Todd, maybe we ought to change this or that. And it's like, nah, man, we're going to do things this way. It's just going to be like a 90-minute concert, which that's not a bad thing per se, but you got to know how to execute that. So good luck on the next project, Todd.